was dark, it was creepy, there was so much tension, and it had kind of all the makings of a horror film. And I mean, just the idea of like hearing hearing something through the wall, and then it's a woman, and it's a woman with a baby, and she's trapped there. And when we find out that, you know, no one has rented this room, I'm like, oh my God, is she real? Is she a ghost? Is the girl going through psychosis? Like, what's going on? And then finding out that, like, this is something that is, you know, based off of a real, um, a real issue, a real thing that happened, which was men locking up their wives and then going to war and dying in war, and nobody finding them, and they have no idea what's going on, and no one knows that they're there to inform them or let them out. And so these women, just like with children, just die in there and rot in there, and no one will find them again. And that is terrifying. I mean, that's a horror film. And the fact that it's true that this happened, and there's probably so many women who to this day haven't been found. So it's like this fun horror film, but then it turns real, and it's even more horrifying. So this film like took on so many different layers and levels of meaning. I thought it was incredibly well done. It was so uncomfortable. Like, I felt dis-ease in me while watching this.
It's a very claustrophobic film, and I love that this was done on purpose, just to really immerse ourselves in the situation that these women were in. I, I think it did a really great job of raising awareness for this historical event and really causing the audience to feel the way that these women felt with this cinematography, showing us only what we needed to see in the frame, using a lot of darkness and shadow. And we had like the peephole effect where we could only see a tiny bit of the actress's face, or just the actress in the frame and none of her surroundings. Just very claustrophobic, which I thought was a really cool choice to use in this situation. Yeah, and I also really loved the heartbeat sound effect that we heard very subtly in the background. It sort of helped to amplify the suspense and just have us feel that onset of panic that our main character was feeling as well.
They develop a steady pace here to enhance the thrill of being home alone and gaining the paranoia someone is there with you. The lighting brings a disparity in this opening sequence. As the door opens, it creates a sort of divide between the two spaces. One room bringing in warmth, while the other brings in something a little bit more gritty. The something's not right experience, so to speak. She lights a white candle in order to possibly evoke protection. They create an intimate frame between these two characters, making it up close and personal by showing a square of space within their homes. The other character is revealed to be locked in the basement with her baby. As the credits roll, you're left to wonder if she is speaking to a ghost. As we see a lead carrying an iPhone, but this legend where husbands lock their wives in shelters dates back to the Mexican Revolution. This woman is led to believe her husband is protecting her, and at the same time goes to speak in rushed and hushed tones. The fear being displayed here is presented in such a delicate manner, creating a sense of urgency and where do we go from here.
One of the things I liked a lot was the location. The house to me that she was in, it was like a character on its own. Nice creepy tone to this from the beginning. Just made me feel like, oh my gosh, is this girl safe? From the very beginning. And with the cat, just everything was so creepy and had a great tone to it. I really thought this was going to turn when there was that twist of her I think it was her sister that she was talking to on the phone saying that nobody rented that space. I thought, oh my gosh, this is a twist and it's going to be this psychological horror thriller. But it ended up being a true story to some degree about the Mexican Revolution and these women whose husbands had to hide them. That was interesting. I can totally see this as a feature or even a series, actually.
A story that is actually very true, something that happened in Mexico during the war. A lot of women have been hidden in between the walls of their houses by their husbands to establish their patriarchy and the power of them, and then end up never being able to escape again, because some of these husbands, they went to war, they died in war, nobody knew where their wife was, and they just end their lives there between wars. So I think the film is quite powerful, and it really manages to tell us a story that has been widely forgotten, and it has to be, and these stories like that have to be, they should be told every day, because there's always something similar happening everywhere in the world. And I think the premise behind the short, it really, and the plot and the acting and the directing, everything works fantastically together to tell us this story that we should never forget.
The subtitles were absolutely perfect. Thank you so much for those. But the cinematography that they did and how this story unfolded was so artfully and beautifully done. They really took their time with it. They built the suspense. The music that they chose was great. And one of the things that I thought was really clever that I loved is how they shot both rooms, so that you could see the divider between the wall and you see what's going on in her room, and then you see what's going on in this woman's room. And that really was very, very impactful.